All right, it's another edition of the Valley's most in-depth, geeky, nerdy weather video. We call it Weather for Weather Geeks. We've been doing this for over 5 years now. It's hard to believe. I would have to do some calculations to try to figure out how many Weather Geeks videos I've done over the last 5 years. But, I've been pleasantly surprised, and from day one I've been pleasantly surprised at how many people are really into the weather out there. Anyone from teachers to students to just everyday folk who just kind of like science and weather, and a lot of people whose business depends on weather, and they're looking for a more detailed forecast than they can get on an app or even on TV or anything like that. That's who this video is for, and so hope you get a kick out of these. We do them most weekday evenings, usually online by about 7:30 or so. I want to start with a quick review of today. There's not much to show in this time lapse, other than the parking lot filling up here at the Southern Park Mall. But there wasn't much in the sky today, obviously. Just a few cirrus and cumulus clouds from time to time. That was about it. It was just a splendid, delightful, break out the thesaurus. You could find about 20 different adjectives to describe today's fantastic weather. This, didn't want to show you the winter version of this. Let's look at today's. There we go. This is today's high-res visible satellite picture from the low orbiting, it's called MODIS satellite, and a really striking detail from this satellite, especially on cloud-free days. A couple of things to point out here. Here, of course, is Mosquito Lake. There's Pilot Tuning. Up over Lake Erie, not seeing a tremendous amount of algae growth on the western end of Lake Erie yet. That is some good news for the Toledo area, which they have to deal with that algae bloom from time to time in the summer, and it impacts drinking water and other things like that out in northwest Ohio. I didn't mean to show you the winter version of this, but just contrast what today's visible satellite looked like to the middle of winter, when the lake is mostly frozen over and the land is covered by snow, and the shallower lakes are ice covered. It's quite a contrast from winter to summer on this high-res satellite picture. All right, as far as the satellite loop today goes, I panned the camera a little west here. A couple of things to show you. Some cirrus clouds coming off this complex of storms that is dying out across parts of the Midwest, and that's why we've had just some ice crystal high cirrus clouds mixed in with the sun from time to time. Actually kind of cool as this system is kind of dying off. You can see a little spin here in Illinois. This is a miniature area of low pressure, a mesoscale low, if you will. You can kind of easily pick out that counterclockwise spin right around the center of that. Again, this is just a dying complex of storms out across the Midwest this evening. Dew points today so good you could just eat them. It's a real treat at this time of the year when dew points dip down into the 40s, especially when we had dew points in the lower 70s at times yesterday. Just a really, really big difference. All right, this evening in the sky, aside from some cirrus ice crystal clouds, a couple of planets visible at this time of the year in the evening hours, if the sky is clear enough. In the southern sky, it's Jupiter, and then if you look lower in the western sky, you'll find Venus, but it won't be up there for very long after sunset. Venus will set fairly early, so right around 9:30, a good time to check out a couple of planets in the sky this evening. A couple of our brightest objects in the sky. We just had a new moon a couple of days ago, so these are the two brightest objects in the sky because the moon is near its new phase. All right, talking about the sun angle at this time of the year, I'll get out of the way here, and we're at the time of the year when the sun is as high in the sky as it gets, with the first day of summer coming up in less than a week, or I should say a little more than a week. What is the first day of summer this year? It's the 21st. It's actually a week from today. So summer about to begin. In middle of winter, or the start of winter, I should say, sun only gets about 26 degrees above the horizon, slowly rising in the wintertime, and then bigger jumps as we get into the spring. And at our latitude, the sun reaches its maximum elevation above the horizon here in mid to late June at 72 degrees above the horizon. Pretty strong stuff, and that's why the UV index is typically a 9, sometimes a 10 at this time of the year when it's cloud-free. At our latitude, a 10 UV index typically isn't all that common. We usually top out around 9, but there's not much difference in practicality between 9 and 10. You can sunburn easily, of course, at this time of the year in as little as 20 minutes without protection, so you know the idea. If you're going to be swimming or working outdoors or anything, make sure you're using sunscreen. If you could not take advantage of today's weather, hopefully you can tomorrow, because tomorrow is a rerun of today. Wall-to-wall sunshine, low humidity, and comfortable temperatures. All right, we'll have one more comfortable night tomorrow night, and then a warm front comes in on Saturday. Saturday will probably not be as pristine as today and tomorrow. Probably some clouds around, but still be a nice day overall. You know, the rain chances over the weekend are low. They're not zero, but they're low. There's probably going to be a couple of complexes of storms that are riding the top of this ridge and then coming down the east side of the ridge and bringing a quick, little downpour to some places, probably at some point on Saturday and Sunday, but the chances are so low and the confidence is so low at this point that I barely have anything in the forecast. The latest run of this model has something in the vicinity at 10 a.m. Sunday morning, but don't take that verbatim. Is there a chance this is right? Yes, but we're trying to catch butterflies with a net here when we talk about these rain chances over the weekend. The bottom line for the weekend is it's going to be hot and it's going to be largely dry, and the heat is definitely the story. Heat index values Sunday afternoon 92 to 95 probably, and Monday afternoon 93, 97, close to 100 maybe. Probably one of the most uncomfortable days of the year so far. Father's Day is Sunday, of course, and if you're celebrating with Dad and doing something outdoors, again, just get ready for a hot and humid day. It's going to be pretty uncomfortable in the sun. Upper 80s already by 2 p.m. 90 is what I have in the forecast for Sunday afternoon, and I just showed you the heat index values, pretty close to 93 to 95 degrees on Sunday. All right, so let's switch gears here. I want to real quick wrap up this video talking about the longer range. Here's a look at the latest CFS, Climate Forecast System model. We're looking at 10-day chunks here as we go through the rest of June. Looks like a pretty warm pattern through the end of the month. This is the 5 to 15-day outlook. And then as we get into July, here's the first week or so of July. It doesn't look as hot here locally, according to this model, during the first week or so of July. It also doesn't look that cool. So what I would suspect, if this is right, and this overall idea is supported by some of the other modeling, I think the overall idea is here that June is going to end on a warmer than average note. July may start out pretty seasonable, but seasonable in early July is lower 80s. So we're not looking at anything real remarkable in the first week or so of July, at least in terms of any sort of sustained pattern. Could there be a day or two where the temperature pops up to 90? Maybe. But that doesn't look like that'll be the rule. That would be the exception around the first week or so of July. That's it for Weather Geeks tonight. Hope you have a good Thursday night, everyone. Thanks for geeking out with me, and I'll see you back here on Friday.